Hello and welcome to this special interview. My name is Brian Mulamba. We'll be talking to Mr. Charles Madziva, who is coming in from General Alliance Insurance, and he's one of the panelists discussing challenges and opportunities in motor insurance space. All right, so I'm very anxious to hear what you have to say about this because, of course, well, to a large extent, insurance in Zambia is synonymous with motor insurance. So let's find out more about this very interesting aspect of insurance. Thank you very much for your time. You're just from having a talk, a panel discussion on the challenges and opportunities in the motor insurance space. What are some of the talking points you brought out?
Thanks. I did bring out a couple of talking points. My point of departure was to emphasize the importance of motor insurance from a protection of citizen perspective, and secondly, from the importance it plays vis-a-vis the performance of insurance as a business, because most of the motor business tends to sit on our balance sheet, and by so doing, if it performs well, the balance sheet grows. If it performs badly, it harms the balance sheet. Some of the challenges that I did share with the conference predominantly is obviously COVID changed the way we do business from the client interface perspective. Firstly, how to buy insurance. People can no longer come to your office. How do you service them when they've got claims? So it just brought a totally different dimension in terms of how do you service that people in that particular space. Then secondly, you find obviously COVID also did affect the supply chains, particularly of motor vehicle parts. And this country relies heavily from parts from South Africa. And South Africa was closed for the better part of the year. That also created its own challenges in that now the downtime of claims became longer. You give an order to a garage then have to find this way either in South Africa by hook or by crook to get those parts in. So that intended to increase the time it takes to have from the time a claim is fully documented to the time the consumer receives the vehicle. The other issue that I also did share with my fellow panelists was that there seemed to be a perception that insurers are sitting on heaps and heaps of money. Because when you go to a garage looking for a quotation for insurance, if you go to a garage looking for a quotation, the first question that they'll ask you is to say, is this for insurance or is for your own personal repairs? That statement in itself is an indicator that we are not being fairly charged. We are being ripped off. And unfortunately, in so doing that, those unfairly priced costs then eat into the policyholders' funds, which could have been saved and for another rainy day. So those are some of the challenges. And also the other issue is also issues to do in claim times when you're trying to get information, for example, out of RATSA, where you have to formally write to RATSA. RATSA looks at your issue, then write back to you. And in the process, you find it then takes longer to service a claim. And in so doing, it then creates a very negative experience on the part of the consumer of the service. So those are kind of the major points that I did touch on in the conversation. Coming to opportunities, obviously, we are all aware that there's the Smart Zambia project where government wants to bring most of its services in the digital space. And I think RATSA have been in the forefront in that particular space where they now require that you should be able to buy your road tax, for example, from anywhere and print that road tax on any bond paper. It's going to be a total game changer, because imagine if you were supplying the printing material to RATSA, you're out of business. Similarly, for us, what it does we are also required to ensure that once we sell insurance, the details of vehicle which has been insured by any insurance company in Zambia, it must then be found on the database for RATSA. So what then that does is that it opens the space for insurers to be able to offer both your insurance and assist the client buy road tax from wherever you are, for as long as there is internet. So web-based portals are going to be handy in that they also enable consumers to buy insurance from anywhere and on their own time, in their own conveniences. So this is a total shift which creates a big opportunity for those that are able to harness it.
With that said, I guess there's need for serious innovation in as far as, you know, you're talking about motor insurance for insurance companies. But from your look of things, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge when it comes to advancing that frontier of innovation?
The challenge that is there is that when this whole project opened up, obviously different players invested in different amounts in terms of the IT systems. I think there are currently about 20 players on the platform, but of the 20, only 5 can actually transmit data to us in real time. Okay, so to alleviate that at market level, that's when you find the Insurance Association of Zambia is in the process of trying to acquire a digital platform which will be available to all the 20 members, which will allow all the 20 members to access this platform, which will allow each and every insurer to connect to all your brokers, all your salespeople, and all your agencies. It's like that the moment a sale is done by each of these particular persons, the details of vehicles are automatically loaded onto the RASA platform. And at the same time, as the insurer, we are able to say, okay, broker A in that particular place is already sold so much of my insurances today. So unfortunately, that platform is still work in progress. It's because there are certain approvals which needs to be gotten. But in the initial planning in that particular project, we were hoping that it was going to be tested this side of the year. But because of the approvals that are being waited for, particularly from the Consumer and Competition Commission and the regulator PIA, that has tended to delay the project a bit. But it's a project that we believe as an industry will revolutionize the way we do business in that particular space. We are not inventing anything new here. Kenya are working on the same project. The people that worked on the Kenya project are the same IT company that is actually working with years on this particular project. Because the same company also did the same project in Uganda. We are not inventing anything new here. We are literally replicating what has been done previously. But what the big plus about it is that it will open those opportunities. It will also go a long way in curbing the issues of fraud, because the issues of fraud, particularly at border posts, it's big. Because my company has suffered extensively, particularly in Kazungula, where you find people, they pounce on these unsuspecting tourists. Someone is coming to visit Zambia for the first time. They want to have the best experience about Zambia. Yeah. And what do they mean? You buy false insurance. The next thing, you're in an accident. Then you're told, no, sorry, this thing that you're buying is fake. Counterfeit. It's counterfeit. And what sort of, rather than that particular tourist being your ambassador, then he becomes he will carry very sad memories of the country. And you see, in all those fake documents that are done, because remember, wherever you sell insurance, 3% of the premium is insurance level which must go to ZRA. So in all these fake transactions, this man, the only winner is the fraudster. You know.
Obviously, the sector, as we wind up the interview, the sector has been hard hit by COVID-19. But the biggest issue really is picking lessons, you know, from what has transpired. So when it comes to motor insurance, what do you think are the lessons that the sector should pick going forward to ensure that if, again, the entire globe is hit by a pandemic of this nature, the effects are cushioned?
I think the key lesson for the industry is we have no choice. We need to invest in digital. So that we are still able to comfortably serve our clientele from wherever we are. There is no need to go to the office, because you find, for example, you find most of our core systems, they are all hosted in a virtual private network. So if I want a report, it means I have to drive and go to my office. And that creates a challenge if that was to pass. But if, for example, if the core system was hosted on the cloud, it means my employees, my members of staff are able to work from wherever they are. Similarly, I think the issues of mobile apps is no longer a luxury, but a need. So that if somebody wants to insure their vehicle, they should be able to, wherever they are, to take certain angles of the particular vehicle to say, look, this is my vehicle, these are the key parameters in terms of its state at this particular and this is sum insured, this is the premium, and I've paid, you're insured.
All right, thank you very much. That's Mr. Madziva there coming through just to give us more information around the talk we had at the insurance conference 2020 organized by ISZ. He was talking about the challenges and opportunities that lie in the motor insurance space. A number of talking points that have come from that discussion. Hope you found it very, very informative. Thank you very much for your time.